Welcome. This is Campaign Train. I am that guy Cross coming to you from the basement. I don't know if anybody's out there, but if you are, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you weren't a campaigner before, you are now. Congratulations. Had a few last second hiccups there. Sorry I got started 4 minutes late. But here I am. Right this second, I'm just kind of testing the equipment, but I figured I'd do something exciting, so I'm going to be doing some things with some bricks onto some of my street tiles for my city block blocks. So I will be attaching bricks to this unless y'all distract me and I do something else. That'll be fun. These ones that I have here are too large. So I'm going to be cutting all of these in half. Hopefully that won't be too squeaky on the microphone there. And once I have these all cut half as thick, then I will be gluing them onto this box along here so that it looks like my previous city block blocks that have the stone on the outside. All right. Hey, Hacksaw, welcome. First person to chat, first name to patron. Woo, welcome. Audio is very muted. Yeah, I've been trying to work on that. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. All I can do is lean closer to the mic. I am going to set up some audio traps over the next week that will hopefully catch my normal voice, but cut out peaks so that it just picks up everything and kind of boosts it, but it cuts the peaks even lower. So hopefully. So can you hear me better now? Hey, Jess, how you doing? I was just talking, saying, okay, so yeah, the problem is I'm basically going to have to, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, you should be able to. I'm basically going to have to speak directly into the mic. I'm going to be adjusting that over the next week. I actually had a problem earlier where it wasn't picking up the mic at all. So it's an improvement over 2 hours ago. So I'm going to be, as I said, attaching bricks to this for the next however long this evening, unless you have something else you'd like to see. So yeah, just give me comments and I will try to remember to see the chat window. I have never done this before, so I've heard that sometimes forgetting the chat window is a thing. I have seen that happen on other channels, and I will try not to do that. So, any of y'all crafting tonight, or are you just watching me be silly and learn the ropes here? Oh, this is going to take forever. Oh, well. Meditative. All good. And interesting thing, cutting them this way, I'm never going to get two of them the same thickness. So they're going to all be a different depth. So it's going to make that wall look really old and handmade and all. So I think it'll turn out well. Half an hour ago, these bricks were all super sharp and crisp and regular, and I just took them and rubbed them together and rounded off all the corners. And so I'm going to be cutting these in half, and I'm going to be gluing the unrubbed side against the wall so that I get the old and weathered look on the bricks. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I can tell I'm not typically a scared person. I don't get scared much, but I am, for some reason, stupendously nervous tonight. But I'll get through it. I've spoken in front of huge crowds. I don't typically have the number one fear of humans worldwide is speaking in public, and I don't really have that. Right now, these are streets that will go between my city blocks. I can show you the city blocks in just a moment. These, I need to brick the outside. These will all have a lid on them. Ooh, that was a bad cut. So you'll put those aside for scrap. These are going to end up somewhat textured like this, where they have bricks and stones on them. This is a different style. These are ones where I laid out the bricks beforehand and then glued essentially a brick veneer on. And these are going to be done independently, but they will come out looking somewhat like somewhat like these blocks. And these blocks are, these are my city block blocks. They are designed both so I can sit houses on them and use them in a city, but these are also designed so that they have storage inside them. And a couple of them I do have like a whole room built into them, but only a couple because you don't need them that often. So this is both a storage and design device. The streets are all designed to be just slightly lower. Once these get another layer of bricks on top for texture, they will sit just below this level here. So there's like a little curb into the street. And these are designed for construction as well. I do have one, that's the one I first showed you, that I am prototyping to have a sewer inside it. So I've got these walkways here and these gates. These will have a grating in them, and I'm going to have doors here to the sides, like bulkheads. So this will not be the final one. I've already realized some things that need to be repaired on this one, but that's why we build prototypes. It's doing its job, so yay. So, oh, thank you. Yeah, I like to think so. I got a lot of compliments on it. When I did it, the storage was accidental. I hadn't really thought about that. I really only designed it so that it would be the platforms with interchangeable lids in case I didn't want to have to brick too many of these, but I could change the tops. And then I took the top off one time and went, so it's perfect. If you've got a whole setup that you need on this, like if your market stalls are small enough to fit below that level, you can put your market stalls or your guillotine or your dais that the mayor is going to speak on or whatever inside here. And that way you could bring it to the table, plug down one square, pull out your stuff, sit on here, and just play on that for the game session. So, or you can do like I'm planning and having a whole bigger area with multiples of these blocks and streets running between them. I'm also planning on some of the corner pieces that will be sitting not here, but here. I plan on having some of those have like a fountain or traffic circle, that sort of thing. Now, everything I build is medieval. I don't build modern or postmodern stuff, so there might be like a tall pillar like with the statues like they have in London, things like that. Where did I put my ones I already cut? Oh, distracted myself. Oh yeah, there's definitely got to be turtles. I love the turtles. They're my favorite gaming style or style of game to run mechanic wise is percentile, and I run percentile because I'm a huge fan of Palladium games, and I'm a fan of Palladium games because they published Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I also, I know some people don't like that sound, but I'm super into anthropomorphic stuff, but I almost always have some form of like mutant animal or magic created in them, or the cat people that live in the desert or whatever. And so since I always have like an animal anyway, it suits itself to well, how do you come up with the stats for that race? Well, I just look back at Palladium or oh my gosh, I've house ruled so many games over the years that I've got my own animal creation rules. So yeah, it's some fun stuff. Enjoy it. There's cats that live in the desert. There's palace cats and there's desert sand cats. Those are two of the palace cats are one of the highest. They have a very high success for hunting because, well, they're round and sort of, they're not super active. I won't say they're lazy, but so they tend to go after things they know they can get. They also are very quiet. They have special fur on their feet, and so they are actually quite successful hunters. The desert sand cat which are tiny. They're like this big, full grown, and they are the #1 successful predator on the entire planet. They get more kills per attack than any other predator, period. There are some other come close, but that's it. I was like, that's very cool. Hey, Courtney, how you doing? This is Attilia. Everybody welcome Attilia. When I say my minion, that's them. So, They're not here right now, but they're good. If I remember by next week, Courtney, remind me, and I will add you as a moderator because I may need one. I've never really had anybody be a jerk to me on my channel, but just in case. Hey, there's Creations. Beautiful stuff. I love your stuff with all of the broom bristles where you make all the thatch and stuff. I love that stuff. It's nobody else does it like that, and I think that's great to have your own style like that. And for y'all that don't know, Sim Peasant is a friend of mine that I met playing a game called Palia. It's one of the very few video games I play. Sim Peasant has their own YouTube channel where they do playthroughs of Palia and several other games, usually pretty chill. And I don't think I've ever seen you play an aggressive game. Anyway, so y'all might want to check that channel out as well. Hacksaw, of course, has his own channel with wonderful, beautiful builds. Oh, yeah, no, I find it meditative to put them on. I don't have a problem with it. I'm more worried that I will nick myself with the knife cutting them this way than I am about having to put them on after. So I can understand some people are like, no, not all the bricks, but yeah, it's no worries for me. I kind of enjoy it. I always dread it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this, and then I start, and next thing I know, I'm done. I actually was putting on hundreds earlier, but I'm waiting on my least favorite part of crafting. I'm waiting on white glue to dry on those. Ugh, hate white glue. Can't stand it. Takes forever. But otherwise I would be putting on hundreds of tiny little bricks on a previous build from earlier today. But I don't want to scare you there, Cleric. Oh yeah. So here it is. Cut, 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 cut. And then I will be glue, 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 glue. And once I start to glue, if I run out, I will then have to take some more of my sharp ones and round them off. As I did earlier, I just rubbed these together to get the edges off. Oh, this is what it is. Now these I will not be putting on with white glue. I'll be using hot glue on these because that was enough of that for one day. I don't mind doing it with the other ones. With the little ones, it gives me more chance to slide them around and move them, space them out if I need to. But with these bigger ones, that's less of an issue. So I will just be hot gluing these. That one drives a friend of mine nuts when I hot glue stuff like that because I put enough for about 4 or 5 bricks, put the glue gun down, and put the bricks on. And then I go back, and he's just like, just put it on hot glue instead of low temp glue and run the bead all the way across. I'm like, no, I don't work that way. And it always drives him nuts because he puts the hot bead like 20 bricks in advance. We all have our own style. Yeah, I can see that. Not everybody is, pardon the pun, cut out for the cutting and the gluing, but the stuff comes out looking so good at the end. I do have, as I said, the ones where I take the piece and I press it in and I do brick, 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 and it makes them like this. And then I lay it down as a veneer where I did all of these on like a sheet of, essentially a sheet of the foam core that had been peeled up. But I don't think this looks as good. That's why I had no problem putting it on this prototype piece that I'm probably never going to use, or if I do, it's just going to be for the road surface. But they really do look better, period, end of story, full stop, when they're individual bricks placed. Anxiety level or no, sorry. Now, the one that gives a friend of mine anxiety is, he's like, how do you not cut your fingers off? I'm like, I don't ever cut myself with this knife, ever. There's a channel I watch. I love it. He always starts off and, yeah, I'm going to be using my knife here, but I don't cut myself, so don't worry about that. I love that line. Does it every video. I'm bad with names, so I love the videos. I just watched one of those this week, but I cannot for the life of me remember what channel it is. If you're watching, apologies. I have not played Palia in weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I want to, but I have been trying to get my Amazon up and running to sell the stuff I make. Switching from Etsy to Amazon for numerous reasons that are not really, a lot of people are really like angry Etsy, and I'm just not. I just have reasons I'm switching. So between setting the Amazon up and trying to get my brain back in a place to where I can come back and start making non-live videos, because I've had a whole tragic backstory here, but I've had a whole almost breakdown for the last couple of years, and I'm working my way through that. I'm seeing the end of the light at the end of the tunnel, so that's brilliant. There's no worries there. But that's kind of what this live stream is a prompt to get me keep moving. So between the Amazon and the getting back into filming and the what was the other? Oh, I'm writing my own tabletop role playing game, my own pen and paper game, not video game. So between the three of them, I just haven't had a chance to concentrate on Palea. Palea is a huge time suck, and when I was mentally not doing anything else, it was brilliant for that. So there you go. Super long answer is no, I haven't played Palea in weeks, but I will at some point, but probably not nearly as regularly as I used to. I know, Courtney, it's not Palea, it's Palea. But it's Palea. Or Palia. Or Doug. I don't care what you call it. Probably not Doug. No one will know what you're talking about. But you know what I mean. Besides, I name everything Kevin. If your name's actually Kevin, well, now you know. I was always like, I see all these people on the miniature discords where they're more into the minis than the terrain, and they're always like, what should I name this guy after they kit bash something? I'm always Kevin. I know somebody who named their barn Kevin. Because they were like, I don't know if this is a barn or a shed or what I should call it. I said, call it Kevin. And so they did. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's D&D like is way overselling their similarity. It will not have alignments. It will not have classes. But other than that, yes, it will be medieval. There will be magic. There will be swords. There will be divine magic. So I got to create gods, which means I have to create an afterlife, which means I have to create how resurrection and yeah, it's a batch of stuff. But I'm enjoying it. I've been playing 100 different games, more than 100 different games over my life. Every single game I've ever played, I've ended up house ruling to some extent. And so now I'm just trying to write a game that works the way I would like it to. There will be percentiles involved in getting new stats and skills and abilities. But once you have them and you're playing with them, those will be on a dice point system, not percentile. So the percentile is just for the skill trees. Oh, yeah, it's going to have skill trees, so that's a thing. That way, anybody can learn anything. Are you a skeleton made this week, but you learn swords next week? Fine, we can do that. So yeah, here I am. Pet brick, pet brick, pet brick. In a bit, I will be glue brick, glue brick, glue brick. I was just going to sit and chat for an hour and a half, and I realized that would be really boring. So now I'm doing something that I hope is keeping your attention, even if it is repetitive. Nice, nice. All the way down from whichever god or angel they were from, or just from like 5 or 6 generations back. Because I'm always curious about how tieflings can technically, eventually, rank up and become demons or angels themselves. And so I'm always curious how people play something that could eventually become world dominating. It's an interesting choice for character art, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, gnome tinkers are cool, but a gnome tinker is a gnome tinker is a gnome tinker, and a tiefling is a potential god. So, you know. Oh, no, Thaco. No. I even had one mechanic that I was working on, and partway through it, I was like, oh, no, this involves reverse math like Thaco does. No, we're not doing that. No. I actually didn't ever hate Thaco And in fact, it works okay itself. The problem is it's backward from everything else in the game. So you're like, roll this, roll this, roll this. Wait, reverse that to roll Thaco. And I was like, that's just a weird situation. So yeah, no Thaco, no Thaco. I do have an armor rating system, but it's done differently. It's not a matter of can your weapon harm it at that armor level. It's when you get hit, if it goes above a certain number of points, the armor gets what's called a breach point. And if you get so many breach points, it gets damaged. If it's damaged, it needs repair. If it does not get repaired and it gets breaches above a certain amount, then it becomes broken, which requires it will not work. You have to take it off, or basically it's treated as if it's not there, and that requires a heavier repair. And if it gets too much breach, then that is considered destroyed, and there's no coming back from destroyed. So there's sort of a Thaco, but you don't have to figure it out on the fly. You just hit them, and then they decide if it went through their armor or not. Oh, you took the prompt and rolled with it. I like it. I like it. Sometimes you need that. Like, I just need a creativity spark and go. That's a good way to do it. I like it. Ooh, they're too small. So, anybody here that has a Proxon, I have a question for you. It came with its original wire, and my Proxon had a lot of issues, but I think it was just a lemon, so we're going to skip all that. But the one it still has is I break the wire all the time, and I'm wondering if I put a thicker wire on there, because I have some that's slightly thicker of also the nichrome wire. I'm wondering if it will fit through the little hole, but I haven't tested it out yet. I didn't know if anybody else has had any experience with swapping Proxon hot wire cutter wire to a smaller gauge, thicker thickness. Oh yeah, background scores are, yeah, unless you're kind of familiar with the game, more with the game, yeah. But you can still come up with great characters, and besides, if you wanted, you could always use it to write a novel or a fanfic or whatever. Keep in mind, a lot of novels started off as fanfic, so just write yourself some short stories and then expand on that or whatever you want to do. I should sneak a thing called Thaco into the game just to no, I won't do that. Give people nightmares. Hysterical. Anybody else crafting tonight, or am I just keeping all of your attention? Oh yeah, the blue one. I the only benefit I see to the blue one, what's the Hercules? The only benefit I see to the Hercules over the um Proxon is the Herc comes a with its own foot pedal, and I had to buy mine separate. Though, if you buy the Hercules, the foot pedal only works with the Hercules because it's got the proprietary plug. If you buy the foot pedal with the Proxon, like I did, that plug is super generic. It's exactly like the ones that would be on a sewing machine or whatever. So I could use it with other devices if I want. I don't have anything else to use it with, but I could. So if that's a concern, that's a benefit of the Proxon. And I don't really have anything bad to say about Proxons. I just think mine was weird because I had like 6 things I had to repair out of the box. So other than the wire snapping all the time, I really don't have a complaint with it. And when it's working, that's the way I got these 5,000 bricks that are in a box over here. It worked one night for a long period, and I was just brick, 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 brick. But I find that if I do anything where I have to make a curve for like a doorway or anything, it starts to get, it is not as sturdy as I would like. I think I'm going to have way more bricks than I need. That is good. I like to be planning ahead. Yes, yes, you can have NPC armorers. You can have. There used to be a skill. I don't remember what it's called in old school D&D, not old school like first edition, but second or third, maybe third 3.5, one of them, where like you could fix your armor on the fly, but almost nobody in D&D ever worries about armor damage or repair. But these are the same people that don't worry about did anybody feed the horse. If you play for 7 months of game on your D&D character and you've never gone any place with a watering hole or a feed trough, how's your horse doing, buddy? So those people don't worry about breaking their armor anyway. But there used to be an armor repair skill that would save you like gold if you went to town, or out in the field if your armor was destroyed or damaged, you could fix it, that sort of thing. So someone could take that as a skill, or yes, there will be NPCs that give you more NPC interaction. And that leads to a lot of NPC interactions for things that people don't expect. Like, we don't know what we're doing next. Like, if you don't have a huge campaign going on, if you have a huge campaign going on, the next thing. It's like, well, we got to take out the vampire, or, got to rebottle the demon or whatever. But if you don't have a big campaign going on, you can have stuff like, well, I got to go through town and get my armor repaired anyway. And while you're talking to the guy and you don't have anything to do and you're talking to him, they might be like, I'll give you this repair for free if you can get me some more of that there star metal. And then you have to go find out where the star metal came from and go get it from them. And maybe it's being mined by goblins, and then you got a whole thing. So yeah, there's all sorts of events with NPCs. I love NPC starting and things. It's not always, well, you're sitting in the pub. No, I like stuff like, you're at the local, there's a public fountain that everybody uses, and while you're there, you talk to somebody and they come to the public fountain because they don't have any other access to water in their house. And so you find out, and then you end up on a whole thing about the peasants are being treated poorly, and you can go, take out the bad overlord. And yeah, I love NPC interactions. Oh, nice. I was laughing about you and your um, knitting the other day. I found when I was going through all of the stuff, all the stuff that's in this house that's just random. I did come across a new in the package, never used skein of yarn, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Attilly would want that. And then I looked at it, and I was like, oh, nope, it's Red Heart. Attilly doesn't like Red Heart because it's that crummy acrylic stuff. So there's a skein of white yarn here if you want it. Next time you're over. Yeah, they do. NPCs, getting the chance to talk to them, and there's so much stuff, and a lot of it, if you've got a GM who's good on the fly, like I like to think I am, and I've had a few others where I've played in their games where they've been, you can come up with stuff on, like on the go, like stuff you didn't even know, like you need a new type of armor or whatever, and you don't even know where to get it because nobody in this town makes it. And the guy's like, well, I know where to get it, but in order for me to talk to that guy, I owe him some money. So you're going to have to go get a thing because this guy owes me money. You're going to have to go get the thing so that I can sell the thing and I get my money back. And then once I have my money, I'll give the other guy money, and then he'll get off my back, and then you can get your armor that you need from him or whatever. Yeah, there's all sorts of convoluted stuff with NPCs. I love it. So here I am. Cut. Brick. I did not realize I was going to have quite this many, but that is okay. I got like 4 more of these boxes that need bricks anyway, so all good. A friend of mine likes a certain type of thing in these builds, and I'm sorry, but I am not going to herringbone these. I might the top surface, but not the sides. I have herringbone the top on one of my bigger boxes, but not. I'm not going to do it on the sides on any of them. I do like switching it up sometimes. So if you look on this one, I did little bricks top and bottom with bigger bricks in the middle, and I like doing that. But I'm probably not going to do that on the roadway pieces since I typically won't be using them as platforms. Oops. Oh, just bent my roadway. What are you going to do? have anything set up yet for bangs. I need one for lurk. I need one for um, laugh. I need one for uh, so I can give people the Discord address or the Facebook address or whatever. Though I hardly ever use Facebook. Probably people are mad at me because I actually run somebody else's that they've let go fallow, and and they wanted me to run it, so I was running it, and they were like, if it gets to be too big a deal, don't do it. And so, well, I haven't. So there may be some people mad at me, but it's Facebook. They're lucky. Not they're lucky. That sounds like I'm threatening them. But in the scheme of things, they're lucky I haven't just let it go by the wayside and literally closed that community down. Oh. Donate what? The ability to create the bangs? Or the exclamation points or whatever people call them on YouTube? Oh, donate the yarn. The yarn. I get what you're saying. You can donate the yarn. Yeah, I thought you might have someplace like that. So next time you're over to the house, you can. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to live in a house. Next time you're over to the basement workplace or whatever, um, then yeah, I'll give it to you. It's upstairs in the closet. See, contrary to popular belief, I do know people in real life. I'm not just a virtual presence. Well, yet, but we can dream. I don't know if that's quite going to be enough to cover that thing. Yeah, I'll do another couple handfuls. I'll just finish this box out. Yay, static. Static is good. Speaking of static, let me change some things around here. Oh, I do have a top-down cam, so that's even more exciting for watching me cut things, because then you can totally not see what I'm doing. That'll be fun. Anybody has any questions about all the stuff I have back here? You ever want to see the behind the scenes or whatever? These live streams are going to be the place where you can ask me about any of that stuff. If you have a question about how do you do blah, I'm always happy to share this. I know there's people that are like want to hide their methods and all. No, I'm not that guy. So if you have any questions, knock yourself out. Okay, even I'm getting bored with this. I think I may switch over and start gluing some bricks on here in a minute, because I know I have enough for at least one side. I'm gonna put these on in a standard brick fashion, over one and then the next one half over, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think I will get to that right now. For once, I know without looking that hot glue is heated up. So, yeah. I have a trick to these. I always start upside down. That way, the top row I know is level. I work from the top and work toward the bottom, and then if anything sticks off at the bottom, then it's easy to scrape off. It's easy to trim off like that. And yeah. So I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way up. Not with those. Exactly not with those. They're springy and covered in static. They always either run away or stick to me. There's no in between with those. Brick. More bricks, more bricks. I hope some of y'all are crafting. Crafting is fun. I hope some of y'all are doing that right now. But if you're just sitting and chilling and watching me do things, that is also fun. So either way, I hope you're having a good evening. All right, what's going on? Yep, we'll do. How do you fight static electricity? I usually just ignore it. Sometimes I do take dryer sheets, unused ones because they still have the full effect, and I'll wipe it down the blade a couple of times and set it off to the side. It really does. It pulls all of the static off the blade, and the next like 20 or 30 things you cut are fine. Sometimes I'll take that little dryer sheet and kind of scrunch it so it's got a bit of a lift to it, a bit of a pillow to it, and then I'll tape it down tape it on the work surface. Let's see, I'll like just tape it along, and it leaves a little lump, and then I can just run the blade on it like that. And that's, I found, the best way to deal with static. You can also, if you are working with white glue where it won't affect it, you can spritz it with water, and the water takes out a lot of the static. Just use a normal spritzer bottle. It's got alcohol, but use a spritzer and put on a fine mist. And the water keeps the static down. But that does not work well since I'm using hot glue tonight. The hot glue does not like to stick to wet bricks. That is for sure. And let's see. Probably if you lick. Oh, yes, no. This is delicious. Yeah, I'm not going to be licking this stuff. Though you are a patron, if you put that in the Patreon thing and say you should lick your bricks more often, I guess I'll do it. But I still find it a little weird. But everybody's got their thing they're into. I don't judge. I have known Miss Lynn for a long time, but I don't know if Miss Lynn wants me to tell anybody how. But we're good buddies from a long way back. So, welcome. If you're the Miss Lynn, I think you are. You're using a different screen name than I'm used to, so if you're not, I feel really stupid now. If you're not that Lynn, well, now I know you too, and now you're like, you have questions for me, I am sure. I have known, coincidentally, Lynn is one of those names. I do have a couple names that I don't like. Like, typically I meet somebody and they have that name, and I'm like, I can see this is not going to go well. It's just a bad name for me. But Lynn has always been a good one. I had a grandmother, Lynn, and I had, as I said, the one Lynn that's very close to me, and I knew a guy in college who his name was Lynn. Not typically a guy's name, but sometimes. And he and I got along real well, so yeah, I said, good luck with that name. If you are the Lynn, I think you are. You already know that. We've had that conversation. You are not. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I have been known to lick foam for different reasons, but never to prevent static cling. Sometimes my hands are full. I'm like, that thing's got to go. Whatever. I don't know how I want to do this. I don't know if I want to start just one brick off, since these are half thickness. If I want to start like a brick off so that the next one lines up like that, or if I wanted to go a half brick off and just deal with having to put a half brick here at the end. I think if I do it a little bit off, it's going to give me this strange zigzag pattern on the wall, and I don't think I'm going to like that at the end. So I think I'm just going to start and do like a normal brick offset pattern. Yep, I have decided that is what I'm doing. So other than my mic not picking up very well yet until I get those settings dialed in and having to lean really close to it, everything else on the stream okay? I wasn't sure that it was going to be very good because down here in the basement, I'm on Wi-Fi. I don't have a direct connection, so I wasn't sure that it was going to do all that well. But since I'm not playing games or anything, I like video games or anything, I've got the frame set to 30. So I'm not doing anything, high precision where you need to see exactly frame by frame what I'm doing. But if there's any problem, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the mellow. I will at some point also have some very quiet background music, but I did not. When I was already having audio problems a couple hours ago, I figured this was not the night to try that. So for the people who've been following along this week, I didn't announce this stream ahead on YouTube because I wasn't sure I'd get all the technical issues worked out. But I have been trying to keep up on the community tab on YouTube and posts in the Discord. Has that been helpful for people, or did you just find this because a little notification popped up and said I was live? Either way works. Just curious how you got here. Oh, good. I knew the community post was a good place to put it, but I wasn't sure that that was going to be the thing. A lot of times in my YouTube feed, I don't see other people's community posts. They don't pop up. I kind of have to go looking for them. So I wasn't sure that they would give notifications. For some reason, and I don't know if it's the way I've got my YouTube set or if it's the fact that most of my computers are on Linux or something, but the desktop notifications for YouTube just basically don't work for me. They're set to be on. I should be getting little pop-ups, but I don't. If I did, then I would definitely see people's community tab posts, but I for some reason, I do not. I don't think it's a Linux thing. I think I'm missing some issue in either YouTube or the browsers themselves. But I usually see them. They'll pop up. You'll get that feed about the third line down on YouTube that says, oh, by the way, these people have been posting to the communities. And I see them then, but I almost never see them like immediately. Yeah, exactly. Yay. Thanks, YouTube. Yay. You did a thing. You didn't tell anybody, but you did a thing. Next time, maybe, tell someone. Yeah. No, YouTube/Google has done one thing that drives me bonkers. It's the one thing more than anything else about the. Oops, stuck that one on wrong. Oh well. No one will notice. Let me rough this one up again once that cools off. Once that glue cools. They do this one thing that drives me just bonkers, and I don't know why they chose to do it. It used to be that YouTube did a thing. There was a way to set it in YouTube, or there were aftermarket things that used YouTube's API, and they would do a thing where you could set it to never get any video with a certain keyword in it. Didn't matter what the keyword was, you could pick one. Say you never wanted to hear snot. You never wanted to hear anything about snot ever. You could put in, I don't ever want to hear snot, and you would never get that. But they have taken that out. You can't rule out a keyword anymore. And I'm just like, why would you take that out? It used to be a thing. You didn't even have it. They had to have intentionally removed it. Just weird. So I am on my account that, no, you're not supposed to have more than one account. Sorry, YouTube. On my account that is about the crafting the terrain. All I care about is crafting terrain for tabletop games. That's it. And I get stuff that's semi-related, but I'd like to rule out. Like, I don't need to know anything for model railroads. Yes, a lot of the stuff has crossover, but I don't have a model railroad, and I'm not likely to do one. So why can I not rule out the word railroad? Or I am not a sports guy. I never want to hear anything with football, soccer, any of that. I do occasionally watch them, but they're not my thing. I can't rule those out. I used to have those ruled out. Like I had soccer, sports, football, baseball, whatever, ruled out. And then I started one day, literally one day, I got, no kidding, 80% of my feed was sports one day. I was like, what did they just change behind the scenes? So there is no telling. I'm ranting on about this, but it does irk me. Like, why can I not rule things out? But YouTube, what are you gonna do? Same here. I don't get notifications. People, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't get notifications of anything. I don't get when people go live. I don't get when when a new video drops. It'll show up in the little bell at the top. I'm pointing like you can see. It'll show up in the little bell at the upper corner that new videos are there. Like it'll show up immediately. I don't have to refresh the page or anything, but there's no pop-up, and I used to get them, and I don't know why I don't anymore. But I manage to get through with my daily YouTube live, so I'm clearly not messing it up too much. But yeah, the notifications are not 100% functional. You did not get a pop-up. Yeah, I don't know. It should have said that Campaign Terrain has gone live. I don't know why it didn't, unless you have the pop-up issue like I have, where it just doesn't come through. So I don't know, Mrs. Lynn. Brick. This part right here would absolutely drive friends of mine bonkers, and I actually enjoy this part. The cutting, like I was doing earlier, that was getting to me, but this I enjoy. Yeah, we're going a little crooked and wonky. This is why I work upside down and work from the bottom or the top down, because this way anything that's wonky, I can just do this last line, and anything that sticks over, I'll just come by with the knife and just. That was a fun noise. Y'all probably really didn't appreciate that. That's okay. Should have turned on my fan. I don't know if y'all could hear my fan on the microphone or not, if I did turn it on, but it is getting a little toasty in here under these studio lights. I have a huge honking LED above me. Actually, let me. Ha! The camera still picks up with the ambient light. So maybe I'll be less warm now. Like I said, getting used to. Oops, took another one on backwards. I'm getting used to all of the lighting and the sound and all of that. Oh, yeah, I've come across live streams like that before. Just like, oh, this person, I literally refreshed my screen 5 minutes ago, and now I refreshed it again, and there's a live stream going. So yeah, I get you. Oh well, the joys of YouTube. Tis what tis. Somehow, I managed to. Whatever. Nobody's going to be paying that much attention to the part. It's going to be brushed against the side of the other thing anyway. So brushed. That's not the right word. Pushed up against. I just realized which bricks these are that I'm using. These are the ones I cut on the bandsaw. Don't know if you can see this, but these have little grooves in them where I cut these with a bandsaw. The teeth going through made a thing. Interesting texture. I don't necessarily recommend getting your finger that close to a saw blade, but yeah, still got all 10 of them. I was going to crack a really horrible joke about injury, but I'll let it go. I hope nobody here has ever injured themselves on a saw, or injured themselves at all, but specifically on a saw. And certainly don't go using a saw to cut your foam and then blame me if you get injured. I'm not, no, don't do it. It's not a good idea. I don't do it anymore. Not since I got the hot wire. I do still use it for some of my lumber. I prefer for wood in crafting to use wood. I do not like the foam lumber as much. Though, if you're going for big and thick and chunky and cartoony, it's perfect. You can make some amazing textures by like doing dragging saw blades across the foam to make the wood grain in that. But I prefer wood for my wood. So I am stupendously broke. So I tend to get like old 2x4 offcuts and run them through the bandsaw and make my own micro lumber, or go to the coffee shop and swipe all of their coffee stir sticks, because that saves on lumber cost. I have all sorts of tricks about being cheap with crafting, so I've been doing all sorts of crafting stuff on all sorts of budgets for longer than some of my viewers have been alive. So, everyone got questions about how to find things at cheap sources? I got you hooked up. Let me know. For the record, all these pieces that I cut off of here that stick out, I end up saving those as rubble or smaller bricks or whichever. That's not for price wise. That's for, we do not have a particularly green hobby. All this foam and plastic glue and all this stuff, I don't like the thought of it ending up in the oceans and such. So I try to recycle, use stuff that I find laying around on, construction sites, or even along the roadside, or stuff I've seen discarded in hardware stores, parking lots. I like to use all of that type of stuff because that way it's basically like recycling and using it a second time. Plus, a lot of the stuff I build, I'm expecting to keep for, years. So it may end up in the landfill eventually, but at least I kept it out as long as possible and gave it as many uses as possible. I don't know. Some people, I imagine a lot of people are into that sort of thing. They just don't talk about it much. But I don't know what to talk about on my live stream here. So you're going to hear me talk about recycling. I like to be as green as possible. So, yeah, that's the thing. Okay, I've been offsetting these, and two of these came out exactly set on the same. I have no idea how I managed that, but whatever. No, there's a certain crafter I like. I don't know if I'm supposed to point out crafters that are not in the chat room. But there's a certain crafter I like that they're British, and they walk to work. And when they do, they find stuff on the roadway all the time that ends up in their that they end up putting in their build, like bolts and pieces of random metal they find, and I'm just like, that is so super cool to me, because that way it's not going straight to a landfill when a land sweeper comes and or a street sweeper comes and picks it up. So that's always pretty cool to me. Came to watch you craft. I didn't hear to come hear you preach about green and green ecology. Yeah, well. Yeah, but stuff like this glue stick and stuff. Yeah, not to be all mushy about it, but Hacksaw and my other patrons, I absolutely love y'all helping me out with being able to do all of this. So just know that some of this stuff got bought with those funds, and I super duper appreciate it. So I now have a third patron. I've never put them in a video yet, but I do have a third patron, so I'm super stoked about that. So Hacksaw's a patron, Dungeon Matron, who y'all should go hang out on Dungeon Matron's Discord. Her Discord is fun. Go hang out on hers. She's a patron of mine. And Digital Calibrator, who was actually astoundingly helpful at getting my audio up and running today. She's not on the stream right now, I don't think, but so those are my three patrons, and I super duper appreciate all of you. Right? So you know who I was talking about. Yeah. He walks to work and he comes up with, oh, I don't know if I specifically should mention him or not, but I don't see why not. So if y'all get a chance, sorry, stuff loose. Earthman Brick. He finds the most amazing stuff just on the road, walking to work. I'm just like, I joked with him one time that it's actually all England's fault, that like England is coming by and cluttering up Scotland, and that's why he finds stuff on the way to work. He thought that was quite humorous. I probably just offended any of my British friends, but I don't think you're really going to Scotland and dumping stuff on Earthman Brick's road. I'm sure you got better things to do. Talking to the entire country of England as if they're watching my stream, which would be awesome, but I suspect it's not the case. That's going to be fun to try to figure out in a minute. All three of these hang off. Because I'm cut, yeah, good with the grammar. Because I cut these bricks in half, this little thinner slice, it's messing up my normal corner overlay I do. I don't know what I'm going to do over here because I don't want them to all start here and move, so I'm going to have to cut some of these back so I can do the overlap thing at the corners. But that is a definite first world problem, and no need to complain about that. I do have a friend that said that he wanted to commission something from me, but it would cost him too much just to get it sent from the U.S. to the U.K. So I'm like, well, I don't know if I really want to do custom stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, the money's right. I'll build you in, I'll build you whatever you want. But I think on my Amazon/Etsy stuff, I think I'm gonna stick with just pre-built stuff. I glued myself with the hot glue. So, anybody else like hot glue a lot but end up with these stringers? I have a super easy suggestion for you. You got a heat gun or even a fairly high temperature hair dryer. Once you're done and all the strings are, just hit them with the thing. The string shrinks straight up. And you never have to worry about it. I see all these people picking them off, and I'm like, no, that takes too long. Oh, I do not do that. Perry Mason. I don't know. I read Perry Mason. I know Perry Mason. I've seen the shows. I've seen the redo of the show that they did in the 80s. I've done all that. But for some reason, the Dragnet dun 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 went through my head. Just the facts, ma'am. Have you or any other England ever gone and planted stuff in Earthman Brick's front yard? Front lawn, I guess they would call it. No, we say lawn. They say garden, front garden. I did see a house the other day that was being spoken about online, and they mentioned the front yard and the back garden. And I'm like, do the English call the front yard a yard now? I thought it was still a front garden. But I do not know. And I haven't asked any British dwellers about it. I certainly know some. I just haven't thought to ask them. Okay. Hardly even worth putting a row on this one. These are so close to that edge. But I don't like leaving things half done. So these are supposed to have all been cut the same, but these are not uniform lengths, and it's very strange that some of these are lining up with the bricks below them and others are not. I think I'm going to try to find a kind of shorter one. I'm going to offset myself in another shorter one. And yeah, that's got it ad hoc into place. Yeah. Ow! Ooh! Hot glue is hot. Who knew? Now, let's come over here. This way. Round those off a little. Perfidious Albion. Blighty as a whole, as the entire country, is being antagonistic to one guy's yard. That's funny. And that's what I thought. This is an issue because this is so close to that edge. But we're going to put a bunch of hot glue mortar in there. Squish that down. That is warm. It's even on low temp, it's still toasty. Okay, push that into place. That should be a little more stable in a minute. This is probably really boring. Top down for a second. All right, so I'm oh no, that's a bad idea. I got light right there. Okay. But you can see I got that edge trimmed up. There you go. And then I've got to come back by with a foil ball or a sanding stick and round off that edge because I don't sharp corner. But I'm going to continue around the other side. I think I may trim. I may go ahead and trim this lip of foam. Wow. Okay. It was really washed out. That's right. We'll go back to the other one. I may go ahead and trim off this edge before I start these two sides here. I think I will do that. Make it all easier in the end. Squeaky foam goodness sounds. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is super squeaky going through that glue. That's some fun stuff there. If you don't like that squeaky, like rubbing your hands on a balloon noise, well, sorry about that. You just heard a whole bunch. Okay. Take you. Is that all of them? Oh no, I've got a bunch. Come on now. Okay, take these. Blob of glue up there. Shove these cut ones off to the side. And see what I mean about how close that was on the bottom? It was almost not even worth putting them on there, but I like it to go all the way down there so I don't end up with a little gap. All right, let's continue around the rest of the way. Did I decide I was going to trim? Need a different knife. All right, cheese curd. Exactly, squeaky, squeaky, like a cheese curd, like a good cheese curd should be. That is good. I got a friend that goes to New York fairly often, once every month and a half or so. And every time she comes back from visiting, she always brings cheese curd from Tim Hortons on the day that she comes down. I'm always like, yes, thank you. Like the squeaky cheese. All right, night, Cleric. Sorry I missed you going out. Hope you have a good night, man. Everybody go check out Cleric's videos. Great stuff with the natural fibers and stuff, like I said before. Very cool stuff. Glue on the side and then down the face. And start from where that one laps over. Push that to the surface. Good, good, good. Oops, just stuck that one on entirely the wrong way around. Oh well, you're stuck now, buddy. That was on you. But you get for crawling out of my hand. Hey, Lawrence, how you doing, man? You having a good one? Look, I'm just sitting here gluing bricks on. Brick, 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 brick. For those of you, I tend to build stuff that's happy and fun and festive and brighter colors. If you like the scary and eerie and eeky and if you like builds that match the lyrics to the Addams Family, go check out Dirty Basement Terrain stuff. Baby heads, demons, worms, maggots, good stuff. Tentacles, lots of tentacles. Oh, carnivorous plants, yeah, all the goodies. Yeah, that's Lawrence over at Dirty Basement Terrain. He does live streams too, I think. Did you have one tonight, Lawrence? Oh, spiders too. Hey, Dungeon Major, I was talking about you earlier. I mentioned you and you showed up. Excellent. Oh, it's your game over. Because you were playing a game tonight, right, Dungeon Matron? Yeah, I was thanking my Patreon supporters, as you are one. So hugely appreciate it. I was talking big on you just a few minutes ago, Lisa. I was telling people also they should go check out your Discord, and if I knew how to post links into this chat yet, which I'm sure I will learn at some point, but I'm not doing right this second, I would post it in. But anybody want to go to my Discord, you can find it from mine. And then if you want Lisa's, just ask for Dungeon Matrons Discord and for Dirty Basement Terrain's Discord, and I'll give you the links to those as well. Spread the love. Love. It's not only a 4-letter word, it's a communicable disease. Or something like that. Yeah, no problem, Lisa. Yeah, your Discord's fun to hang out in, and you are super supportive of the whole community. And oh my gosh, the stuff you build. I know that your last year, you're like, oh no, it leaks light. Shush, shush. It looked great. It looks fine. It looks wonderful. Shush. So, Lisa does not have her own channel, but she does build lots of stuff for other channels' challenges. And it's always amazing stuff. Oh my God. The one before that last one, the haunted house. Y'all need to see the haunted house. The house she made with the, there's a picture with a hand coming out of it and a mirror that sometimes it's just a mirror and sometimes you can see a skull. Amazing stuff. Oh, hey, I appreciate that, Lawrence. Thank you so very, very, very hugely much. One of these days I'll figure out how to do the stuff on Twitch as well. And one of my big things is I always think it's very cool when I finish watching a Twitch stream and they raid someone else. So I end up finding out about like new crafters, new game players, whatever, because a friend of mine bounced me over to someone else's channel. So I hugely appreciate the heads up on that. All right. Yeah, but no kidding, Lisa. I know you already said thank you and all that, but no kidding. That haunted house, that just blew me away. That thing is amazeballs. Or Halloween challenge house, or whichever we're gonna call it. It was. Yeah. I know that I sat there and watched you make the wainscoting, and was still when I saw it in place in situ on the thing, I'm just like, holy crap! Yeah, super cool, super cool. And I love the dentals. Not quite dental since there was a bottom rail, but the crown mold as well. I know I'm blathering on. I'm sucking up, but such cool stuff. Such cool stuff. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Now I'm going to have to go check that one out too, Dungeon Matron. I don't know what that is. But it sounds gross and lovely and wonderful, like the blob and whatever. Some people don't put 2 and 2 together with some stuff. I have a friend that was always like, yeah, whatever, because the big cliche low-level creature is slimes and jellies and, what's the other one? Slimes, jellies, puddings, and oozes. And they were like, well, I don't really know why it's that big a deal, and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, an ooze. It's one of the lowest level creatures, right? Yeah. You love the movies The Blob, right? Yeah. The Blob is an ooze. He was like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, there you go. Now you're getting it. And so there's something absolutely chilling about the actual ramifications of a creature that can seep into holes to get away from you and seep out of other holes to come back and get you and doesn't make any noise when it's doing it. take that over. I'll take The Thing, like John Carpenter's The Thing or whatever, over just Creepy in the Darkness goo anytime. Creepy in the Darkness goo is one of those funny terms. It's like, oh, that's the name I used to dance under. For the record, I did not used to dance. No one wants to see that. Oh, the substance is ingested, not the other way around. So it's like pineapple. It eats you from the inside. Nice. Oh, thank you, Cole. I'm super glad to hear it. Yeah. There will be more coming out. This live stream is a mental calisthenic to get myself back into the habit of doing more often. I have a whole list of builds I'm going to be doing, and some of the things you can expect shortly are the little boats that I posted on my community page before. I've got piers that go with them, but I don't like them, and I'm going to be updating the piers. I am making roads with sewers. That's literally what I'm making here. Different ways to do roofing, like thatch in different ways, shingles in different ways, curved tiles. That's probably going to be mostly out of soda straws. I've got a fortress wall and gate I'm going to be working on. Different types of goos like spackle, mortar, plaster, things to fill gaps between bricks. I'm going to speed build a house. I'm going to have everything ready to go, and I'm going to show, if you've got your stuff ready to go, how you can pop a house out in nothing. I've got a tower and then a couple other prototypes I've got working on and things like that. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of videos coming out. In addition to, I'm hoping to make these streams live, these live streams weekly. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that on Saturdays or Sundays, since there are other things happen on Saturdays, like Lawrence's stream and the Saturday get-together on the every other Saturday get-together on Dungeon Matron's Discord. I will be probably doing these on Sunday, not tomorrow, but like 8 days from now, and then on Sundays from then on. But yeah, but thank you so much for saying. So yeah, soda straws cut in half. Yeah, you can do that to make literally glue them on one at a time, and I don't mind the repetitive stuff like that. I know it doesn't. Some people don't like it, but I will be doing soda straws cut in half, and also peeled corrugated like this with lines cut in it, because I didn't do anything. I didn't really press them down or anything. I slit them this way, and then I took the edge of the knife and pushed it in at the top, and it ends up, well, the bottom technically, and it ends up making them look like Mediterranean style tiles. So this way and or the soda straws, but they'll both be in that video. So hopefully that one will not be too long. I may have to do that as here's how I do thatch, here's how I do that. That may end up being 4 or 5 videos. So yeah, okay, where are we at? You should see me craft my project in 4 hours. Yeah, that's the thing. And then you're like, oh, it leaks light. Shush, you made it in 4 hours and it looks amazing. I would love to have heard you cussing. I've heard you say a couple things here and there, but not. Yeah, that would have been fun. Slimes are the easiest monster to build yourself. Just keep a base under the tip of my hot glue gun. Yeah, I have. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a holster for my glue gun, and right down in there, it collects the drippings. And every once in a while, I'll pull them out of there. And I collect all my hot glue stuff anyway because I melt it into other things. And so I end up with blobs for my hot glue gun like this. So yeah, I'm trying to think of a creative way to utilize those, but so far all I have is a big bowl of 5 years of hot glue that I always collect, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. All right, have a good one, Cole. Press under mattress at two seats away. Thankfully, crashed with the earplugs. The professor doesn't talk to me anymore. I don't know why. Yeah, I can see that being. Was Scotty crafting, or was he there, or anything? I figured that Scotty is so nice when I see him on like his videos and stuff. I always wonder if there's like this behind the scenes horrific mouth coming out of him or something. Oh, poor Kim. When we've been on the on your get-togethers on your Discord, I've heard Kim get upset over stuff. I don't think Kim has it in them. I don't think they have it in them to cuss. Not like I do when y'all aren't listening. Oh my gosh. I get so angry at objects. How dare, the hot glue gun attack me and burn me or whatever. Yeah, I blue streak is the right word. Yeah. That's kind of how I grew up. I was tragic backstory. The woman I was raised by, not my genetic mother, was once complimented, I guess is the right word, by Eisenhower. Eisenhower once said that my great aunt's name was Dorothy. Dottie, that's what she went by. Dottie may cuss like a sailor, but there's never a doubt she's a lady. And that is the woman that raised me. So, I'm not saying I'm a lady. I'm saying I cuss a lot. Not a gentleman either. Oh, I imagine. I was so jealous of y'all all getting to see each other. And then Daffy came through Atlanta twice, talked to Jim both times, and I'm like, man, I'm only like 20 miles from there. I wish I could have gotten to see either of them. But... y'all who don't know, Daffod is Terraintronics on YouTube, and Jim is the Tabletop Engineer on YouTube. Both amazing channels. Daffod makes electronics that you can buy to spiff up your miniature stuff. He's one of us. He's not just, I do electronics. He's also a miniature crafter. Hangs out with us sometimes and all that. So he's not building stuff like it's for railroad, but you could use it, or it's for model slot cars, but you could use it. No, it's built, a lot of it with miniature crafting in mind. So give Terraintronics both the YouTube channel and his website a go. And then there's Professor Dungeon Master. He does a lot of talking about running the games and the game industry and changes that are coming down the pike. So that's a lot of cool stuff. He does crafting sometimes as well, but not as much as the other stuff. Who'd I miss? DM Scotty, of course. When I said Scotty, that's DM Scotty. He's like what they call him, the grandfather of miniature crafting, godfather of miniature crafting. And he just recently published Easy D6, the role-playing game, which both Dungeon Matron and Lawrence have played. So it's a pretty interesting system. I like it. It's very, very quick. You can pick it up in 20 minutes, be off and running. The combat's not the only thing you do in it. The resolution system is very streamlined. Yeah, it's good stuff. And who'd I miss? I'm missing somebody. Who'd I miss? Oh, did he? Professor Dungeon Master came in right after yours. Oh, Baron was there. Yeah, Baron DeRop's got a channel as well. I don't really talk to him as much. I'm missing somebody. Who'd I miss? I don't know. If I missed you, I apologize. Speak up, and I will happily pimp you out to the listening throng of 8 of you, or however many. I actually don't know how many of you are listening. I don't know how to check how many of you. It says right now that there are 8 of you. Excellent. Welcome all of you. Some of you are being quiet, and that is okay. I hope I am entertaining. In case anybody's wondering what I'm doing, these are the streets that go between city blocks. This is upside down right now. This will be flipped over and then have a kind of lid put on it, and it will end up looking like this piece here, except only this wide, and sits just a little bit below this. So it's like this is a curb, and it'll drop off into the streets. And so it's part of a modular. Wow, couldn't speak for a minute. Part of a modular city idea I had, and I looked into a thing because it turned out that the boxes that make these platforms can also be used for storage, which was not the original intent, but a happy little accident, as not that one guy would say, but as Bill Alexander, the person who originated that saying, would say. Happy little accident. Alrighty, so brick. And somebody said earlier that this gives them like anxiety. So I'm sorry if any of you are like, oh my god, he's putting on these bricks, it's freaking me out. Well, yeah, it is what it is. I got to get them done at some point. And I mentioned this earlier, but for anybody who missed it, I much prefer the one at a time bricks like this. I think they just end up looking so much better than textured rollers or pre-surfacing and then laying on a veneer like I did on this one. I just think that the individually hand-laid bricks look better. As the meme goes, individual bricks look better. Change my mind. You're not really going to change my mind. I like them. Okay. Well, the city terrain thing, I just wanted like platforms, and I was like, well, they might as well be like city blocks, and I can put multiple things on it. Like I could just clear one off and turn it into like an immediate plunk down a few stalls and have it be a market scene. I could plunk a statue or a fountain in the middle and have it be like a city center. I could put a dais on one side and have it be like where all of the people are hearing the announcements, and you got to go stop a pickpocket, and here's the crowd, and put people. All these different things I was thinking of, or you can plunk houses on it or whatever. And then while I was building it, I built the platforms, and the first one that I prototyped was upside down. It was just hollow on the bottom. It was just a platform, and I was like, I flipped it over, and I needed to move something. I stuck a bunch of stuff in it, moved it, and went, hold on a minute, and it's such a serendipity. It's just it works so well. So yeah, I was talking about different people during the stream earlier. I know I mentioned Earthman Brick. If y'all get a chance, he did one today. He does lots of things where he takes MDF terrain, like the pre-made kits, and he dolls them up and makes them look better. He adds like texture and stuff. The one he put out today with the larger building from the recent series he's been, just great stuff. Great stuff. So get a chance to check him out as well. I know he's not here right now because it's the wee hours of the morning for him, I think. What is it? 8:30 here. They've switched over to daylight savings, so it's like 1:30 in the morning there. So I would imagine he's not here, but it is a weekend, so maybe. Oh, see, now you got me thinking, because it would be super simple to do that, Lisa. Because this layer, once this layer is on here, I'm going to peel this, and then once I add the layer of bricks on top of this, that's going to sit to right there, but with one more layer of the, oh, those are the full size, the half size brick on it. And then once those have set there, yeah, it would be super easy to just put a little magnet hole in this layer and then glue the bricks right over it. And then you just plunk a magnet. Just know, if you like knew that there was a magnet on each corner. I may do that before I actually attach this lid. If I don't, I'll do it on other ones, and I'll put like a square tile so I know the ones that have magnets. Or I'll tear them up and tear up the corners and redo them later with magnets. One of the two. Because I don't mind re-editing stuff later. You would put magnets specific places, fencing. Oh, fencing would be a nice idea. Do it better, especially when they're a bit off from each other. Yeah, exactly. The different thicknesses make it better. So good to see you. I been watching your builds with the. You've been doing a lot of dark stuff like Chaos Forces lately, right? Unique Wargaming. I've been watching some of your paintings and stuff. Hey, Kim, how you doing? No problem. You don't have to chat. We know you're here. It's good to see you. Yeah, so Unique Wargaming. It's 1:30 in the morning for you as well, isn't it? And you're here, so good to see you. Nice to have you on the weekend. Unique Wargaming has a very unique wargaming channel. Terrain builds, lots of miniature painting if you like the GW stuff. Always up on the pulse of the GW stuff, because gets the magazines that GW puts out that have the figures attached. Does terrain builds for them to be played on, and also occasionally does battle reports from those with all of the painted minis and the terrain that he's built. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. And like me, works from a workspace. So the outdoor shed, get to hear the cow noises and the chainsaws and the other stuff all the time. It's kind of funny. Probably aggravating for you, but I find it quite humorous. Oh, do you? I don't think I've ever heard you. I heard you say, this is not the right word, but I heard you say something like fiddlesticks or something one day, Kim. I was like, in my head, you're this quaint little thing that never cusses, and I don't know why, because I know you have to let go at some point, because I've heard the stories you tell. I'm like, anybody who has the creepy in them like that, yeah, I am sure you're not the cleanest mouth ever, but I've never heard you say anything. So, on the other hand, I typically don't say stuff when I'm public like this either. So, man, I was worried on my live stream tonight that y'all were going to hear me saying a lot of bad stuff, but most of that was directed at my audio equipment earlier, and I seem to have gotten that part of it fixed up. It was jacked up. Now it's fixed up. And I had choice words earlier. Oh, hey, Martin. All you people in the UK and Europe burning the midnight oil. Glad to have y'all. This is Martin. Martin does amazing builds with like natural material stuff that he finds out in the woods and stuff, and turns them into these weird, chaotic, deep, dark. They look like, every one of them looks like it should have its own mythos about it. And for all I know, Martin's creating a little mythos about every one of them. But yeah, beautiful stuff. Oh. Yeah, this is my first ever live stream. You are catching me on the first time ever, Martin. So I am absolutely over the top to have you here. I super duper appreciate it. Man, that last one you showed off to us with the big axe looking weapon. Oh, love that. That one looked like he meant business. Like he's like, yep, got to go take care of some stuff. Yeah, stuff. Loved it. Yes, yes. Like and subscribe here. Like and subscribe to Dirty Basement Terrain. Like and subscribe to um, Questboard Terrain. I don't. Do you actually have a channel, Martin? If you do, I have forgotten it because I'm so used to seeing you on uh, Lisa's stuff on her Discord. So, okay. Oh, good. Glad to see it. Tomb Kings. Nice. Nice. I like it. Yeah, glad to have you, Kristen. I hope it's entertaining. I'm trying to be. This is my first live stream ever, so I haven't put out a new video in like 2 years, but I will be very, very shortly. I was telling everybody a bit earlier that I've got a whole list of like 7 or 8 shortlisted videos to build. So please come back and see stuff. So, yeah, I thought that's what I thought you had said that before, Martin. I thought that you were like, I think I'll just build and talk to y'all and not put out a thing. Yeah. Honestly, the biggest stress I find is the actual editing of the videos. The rest of it I find, but I don't script my stuff. I just build it. I've only done voiceovers like twice, and I've just described what was on the screen. So I just build and go. But once I get into the editing booth, if I'm spending, if I've got, let's just do this in easy normal sounds. If I spend an afternoon of like 4 or 5 hours crafting, and I take all of that footage and I put it into say a 20-minute video, I've got 4 or 5 hours of footage and about 6 to 7 hours of editing because I do things like I put that music track behind the background and I always have it drop lower when I'm speaking and so that you can hear me and then come back up and I have to do it so it comes up slowly. It doesn't just spike back up and all of that. Yeah, so the editing to me I find kind of stressful sometimes. The actual filming, now that I've got the 3 camera setup, because I've got this one and this one and this one, and none of those are on phone cameras anymore. I'm actually filming with webcams now. Uh, it it makes it much simpler. So I've done some practice runs with some videos that I was not going to post. Um, they weren't crafting; they were just me talking to the camera, and I'm liking the new setup. So hopefully that will go easier. But the thing is, I've got 3 different sets of cameras. I've got footage, so it makes it easier. If I want to show off something I'm building, I can just stop that recording and hit record on the other one from the other angle without having to unplug my phone camera, move it to a different tripod, or move the tripod and set it up. So yeah, but yeah, I see what you mean about it can be stressful. Oh yeah, the Questboard Train is underselling herself. The videos are great. The production work on the videos is great. The builds are great as well. And then the stories just blow me away because it's like, oh yeah, this is wonderful and all. And then there's the whole story of these witch sisters and their one underling. Is the underling related to them or just someone they took in? Either way, the whole story about there's a whole political intrigue in the family of which ones are upset at which other ones and which ones are supporting the youngling and which ones are sort of like uh, figure it out or don't. I won't say they're actively cruel, but they're distant. Whole set of stories. Very good. Clap, clap. Somebody said one time that I should share a lot of my gaming ideas as stories on the thing, but I don't. typically build for games I'm running. I haven't had a gaming group since the virus hit, so um, I don't typically build for my story anymore. As I'm writing the role playing game, I guess as I'm writing filler stories and such within the game as ambiance pieces, maybe I can tell stories from that. That might be fun. I'm a pretty good storyteller. Like I was saying before, I don't have that fear. The number one fear in the world is public speaking, and that I do not have. I have stood up in front of very large crowds and given people speeches. So I'm telling stories on the internet would not be frightening for me. I just haven't ever done it. And all of y'all know, any of y'all who know me know I like to talk. So telling stories, yeah, I'm okay with that. Yes, the YouTubers here are trying to convince you of that, Dungeon Matron. I would like to say, I believe I am the second person that ever told you that when you said, I don't have a YouTube channel, said, yet. Someday, one of us, join us. Okay, have a great night. Oh, I'm already over. I didn't even mean to. That's all right. I'm having a good time. So I'm gonna finish out trimming these off so you can see it. I will turn off these bright lights so it washes out less and you can see it from a different angle. So let me let this cool for a second. Let me trim this off at the top. I didn't even realize it had gone that long. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fill time, and y'all have been fun. I'm liking the feedback and talking to y'all. So yeah, have a great night, and I will catch all of y'all later. But for right now, I am still here. Okay, so that's that. Like I said, I save all these pieces because I use them for rubble or just trim them down to be used as smaller bricks later. So if you want an insight into my mentality of the stuff, I like to conserve. Okay. That's all of that trimmed off. Now I got to trim these last corners. And then I will swap out my lights and wash out the camera less, and I'll show you from the other camera angle. Yeah, so I'm very happy about the cameras. I bought one, and then a friend of mine had one that they weren't using, so they're like, here, use this. And then another friend of mine said that they had a friend that had gotten out of streaming any stuff, and so they didn't use their webcam anymore and just brought me one day, and I was like, yes, that'll work. I love it when friends bring me stuff for freebies. I'll take all of the freebies. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Nope. Oh. All right, one little dollop in there. Press you into there. Round off this corner. Pick all the ones that I haven't used. Last little trim here. Take those. Little catch bucket. close the knife for safety. Let me adjust these lights real quick. Okay. Now, all right. So that is what they look like. Now I was working from the bottom up, but the bottom's actually the top. So that way I've got a perfectly level first layer. The bottom, nobody's going to care if these are a little off and wonky, so kept that as like that. And as you see, I made the corners match up so they overlap each other, so it looks like actual masonry. And eventually, that will have a whole lid on it. This part will have brickwork cut into it so that it looks like offset from these bricks. And there's going to be 2 layers above this, so it's going to, or 1 thick layer. I haven't decided. I think I may do a thick layer. So it'll be like that. And then that level will come up to just shy of this level. So there's a step down from the curb into the street. And this will have a top on it of these bricks. And all of that will fit together. And the way they fit is like this. Now, these are from before I started making them in 6 inches. I was making them 3 inches wide, thinking that would be a good size for a road. And then I decided that my scale I build to is 148. So this actually ends up being 12 feet wide. But if you make a wagon that's actually the right size for this scale, they end up looking not right on the table. So I decided I was going to go with 6 inches instead. But this is what they end up looking like. And I have these all in 12 by 12, or I do have some 3 by 3, 3 by 6, and I have them like this as well. These are 9 inches, so it gets a shallow enough slope so that minis can stand on it. If you build it at 6 inches long, it's too steep. So if that sits there and this sits here, that gives a nice ramp up to this. And you can see these platforms and these pieces being used in my last 3 videos were the bugs and the 2 videos about building this workbench. But the ones before that were about these city pieces and some railings I have and some bridges I have. And it's all part of one big system. Now, if I was to actually put these together, these are 1 foot by 1 foot. So if I put one at the edge and put a 6-inch road and one at the edge and a 6-inch road, and one at the edge, that one's going to fall off if I'm using like a 4 by 6 typical Warhammer size table, or even a 4 by 8 plywood sheet as a table. So I may have bitten off more than I can chew with this scale, but this is already a good size. I could put this here and put a 6-inch between it and have like a park or the roadway or whichever, and then have buildings here. But I could also set the buildings back and have this be communal city area, and that way I can build it on a smaller scale. But if I wanted to, I could build like, massive railroad layout, style layout of fully modular cities. So that's my goal. And like I said, these can all be used for storage, so you can put stuff inside them. And yeah. That's all I, so, yeah, the collapsing bridge is cool. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't know if it's got the collapsing, yeah, but the collapsing bridge is very cool. It's actually, I designed it specifically. I cut little notches into it so it fits together, and you can literally poke it, and it will collapse. But it's also sturdy enough that if you don't just like hit it, you can sit pieces on top of it, and they'll never know it's about to collapse. So thank you for saying, Lisa. Yeah, I was one of those things I was just so happy about. Some stuff I build and I'm like, yeah, it worked out. That I was super happy about. All right, so those are the city block blocks. This is the ramps and 3-inch roadways that go with them. And yeah, so like I said, I will be building more things. I probably will not be building much more on this, except for I will eventually have a video for the sewer that I've been prototyping. These are just rubble in here, but each end has a piece like this that fits. These pieces stick down here so they can fit into the poop trough of the sewer. But they'll be attached when it's done. But I designed these, if you look, there's a little gap in the back. That way, before I glue them in, I can use some of the cross stitch mesh and make a grating for this and glue it in here and then glue that in. And that way there will be gratings over the entrance. I keep thinking I'm on this camera over here and I'm not. Let me switch here. So that will have gratings in here, and I'm going to put doors here that work like that are going to be like bulkheads, so that if there was like a flood or whatever, but they're more for security because they'll stop, your goblins or your giant rats or whatever in your sewers from getting through, because there'll already be a grate here, unless of course it's broken. Adventures, you can have all sorts of adventures run from that. So that one there'll be a video about. But I think that's pretty much it for my city block videos. But my modular pier system is designed to go with my cities, and yeah. So I have a lot of stuff planned. I'm sorry that I've been gone for 2 years, but I'm trying to get back into that. For everybody that's come tonight, I hugely thank you for having come. I cannot even, I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 people, and it's been like, 8 or 9 people all night long, and I have super appreciated it. I feel in the love. So let's see where I am. I'm missing anything. Oh yeah, the diagonal pattern. I specifically laid this out. I was talking earlier, Lisa, before you got here, that I am not putting a herringbone on the side of any of these. That's not going to happen. I'm not doing that. But I do have, like I said, the one has a herringbone top. I've got 2, I think, of these, maybe 3 that have the herringbone top piece. And it's no problem on a big wide surface like this, but it's kind of difficult to do on the side. But yeah, that's funny. I was thinking about you earlier when we were talking about that. So let's see, what else did I miss? Corners. Oh, thank you for the corners. Yeah. Yeah, I tried to make them mash up. Like this was done with a veneer, but this is a prototype, and I just sort of rolled it over. And mostly it worked well. But where it didn't, it snapped and ended up looking really bad. But I can always cut this out and put like a stone pillar or whatever on a corner. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the one is definitely herringbone. It was specifically, I did it as a herringbone as like a joke in relation to our previous inside jokes. Okay. Okay, collapsing bridge, ramps. Yeah, the ramps that's what they were originally supposed to be, is ramps down to the piers. They were supposed to be so that people bringing their loads of fish in on the piers, or even when I eventually get around to building ships. Oh, ships is on that short list. When I get around to building ships, you can bring the cargo up to grade level up those. That's exactly why I built the bridges. So I've got minis here. So as you can see, that's the they'll stay on this. If you built it at that where it's like at 6 inches, that puts it at about that angle, and they'll either slide down or slide and catch one of the edges and fall. So yeah, it's got to be a 9-inch ramp. Alrighty. Yeah. He made a 2.0. I never saw that one. Okay, so I think that's all I got for you. I've gone way over tonight. I appreciate everybody who stayed for any of the time, especially the last half hour. And oh yeah, thank you. I like I said, I've never had a problem speaking, so I can fill the space. I'm just glad there was somebody here to respond to. So thank you all so much for coming. Or I'm sorry, I'm supposed to do the cliche thing where you put your hands to the little left thing. So thank you so much. I hope everybody's had a good time. And that is it for me. Thanks, everybody. You're all now campaigners. If you weren't before, you are now. So welcome, campaigners, and I'll see you next time, either on a live stream, probably 8 days from now, on not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow on Sunday. And I will be having videos soon, probably after that next live stream that week. I should have some, because that'll give me time to get both the small boats and the pier rebuild footage filmed, and I'll get at least one of those out. Hard hands, yes, hard hands. So, all right, y'all have a great night. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see y'all later. Everybody check out all of their channels and such. All right, bye-bye.